All right, hey everyone. This is going to be a rules video for solo play for Arc Minima. Arc Minima is my 18 card version of Arc Nova. I cut a different video for rules for two-player play. I'm going to assume that you know those rules, and we're just going to go over the differences for solo play. So that's just my rulebook in case I get stuck. First player marker, you don't need that. You're always the first player in the solo mode. You're going to be playing against a bot named Armin. And there's this reference card that helps you with everything. So we'll actually reference this for setup. So you get 2 starter cards, the bot gets, and you also get 3 others. Choose one of the starters, keep 2 of the non-starters, and shuffle those back in. I probably don't need to show you that because that's pretty self-explanatory. The most complex part of the solo mode, and it's not too bad, is calculating what's called interest. So the bot has a certain amount of interest in whatever cards are in the display. And the way you calculate interest, it'll be easier to visualize that. So let's say that's the display right now, and the bot currently has these 2 cards in its tableau. I usually just stack them up until scoring. So you calculate interest based on what the bot already has in their tableau or in their zoo. So it is R minus the absolute value of, I minus the absolute value of R minus E. So I is the number of matching icons the bot has in its zoo that the card in question provides. R is the current round, and E is the card's enclosure size. So let's do a couple of examples. Let's say it's the bot's turn, and the bot is supposed to, I'll go through how the bot determines what it's going to do, but the bot is supposed to, let's say, draft a card. Here's the 2 options. So we need to calculate the bot's interest in each of these 2 cards to determine which one it's most interested in. It will draft the card that it's most interested in. So let's do it for the porcupine first. So let's find R minus E. So the current round, let's say it's round 2, minus E minus the enclosure size is 1. So R minus E is 1. So that's 1. The absolute value of 1 is still just 1. And then we subtract that from the number of matching icons the bot has in its zoo. So here's the herbivore icon and the Europe continent icon. It actually has none of those icons, so that's 0. So we take 0 minus what we found here, which was 1, which is -1. So it's actually negatively interested in this card. So that's a -1. Let's figure it out for the wolf then. There is, the current round is 2 minus 4, the enclosure size. So that's actually -2. The absolute value of -2 is just 2. We'll just knock off the negative, so that's a 2, and then we'll figure out how many matching icons it has. So I can see 1 match here, so that's just a 1, just the predator icon matches up. So that is 1 minus 2, which is another -1, and when you know it, that's a tie. So if it's a tie, the bot picks whichever one has just the greatest flat appeal, which is this wolf. You don't do scoring abilities for the bot, you don't pay attention to conservation values. If you're breaking that tie, the only thing the bot cares about is appeal if you're breaking that tie. If these happen to have the same amount of appeal, in addition to a tie on the interest level, the player actually gets to choose which one the bot will draft. So the bot would just take that one into its zoo, then it would be back to your turn. The bot is going to get an action card just like you. You take the first turn. So let's say we took that turn and we did whatever we did. And the bot had this as a starter card. Let me check this to make sure I have it right. The gameplay of the Armin bot is actually on the back here. On the bot's turn, you rotate it counterclockwise 1. So you both start on the sponsorvation action. The bot rotates it counterclockwise 1. Every time on a turn when the bot's card goes horizontal, which is either the animal's action or the card's action, you can see the card's horizontal, you discard the top card from the deck. There are 2 empty spaces here. If there was 1 empty space, the bot would fill in that, just like player rules. If there are already cards in the display, you cover up the card that the bot is least interested in, which is probably this one at this point. Actually, no. I would have to figure that out because this has a larger enclosure size. Let's say it was least interested in that one. So let's say the bot keeps taking more turns. So my turn, bot's turn. Here it would discard another card. When it hits the sponsorvation action again, like it got back around to where it started, nothing else happens, but it flips the card. Okay, now it's our turn again. Bot's turn. It went horizontal, so it would discard a card. When it gets to what's called critical mass, and critical mass is just a certain point at which the bot decides it's going to draft a card, and it's a timer, and it's based on the difficulty that you choose. So normal is when it hits the purple build action. So let's say it's our turn again, and now it's the bot's turn, and they just hit the purple build action. On that turn, they would draft the card into their zoo that they're most interested in. Then after that, you would flip the card back to the blue side and put it back on the starting sponsorvation action. The difficulty settings just change when that critical mass happens. The bot is going to draft more cards and more quickly on the harder difficulty levels. That's the only thing that changes. Then for scoring, calculate your scoring as normal. For the bot's zoo, usually when the bot is accumulating stuff, I'm just stacking it up here because during the game, the only thing that matters is the bot's icons, unless you're really wanting to pay attention to its conservation actions, which I rarely do, to be honest. But what I do when I'm doing scoring then is I'll spread these out, and the bot then gets to conserve it can conserve animals based on the conservation actions that it meets the requirements for in its zoo. So for example, this is, if it has 2 rocks, it gets 7 conservation points. Well, there's 1 there and 1 there, so it meets that criteria. We will give it 7 conservation points as efficiently as possible. So there's 5, 6, 7, so we're going to conserve those 2. Then we'll move to another one. So this one, so we've checked this one. Let's check this one. Come on. We need 2 different continent icons, and we can get 6 there. Well, let's look. We have North America and Europe, so we meet that. I see there's 6 conservation points available right here. We'll do that. Let's check the last one. 3 Africa icons. We definitely don't have that, so this last one is not met, or criteria isn't met. We don't get to conserve anymore. Then the bot only scores on appeal and conservation points, so we would take this one's appeal but not its conservation value, and then we would do both for the rest of these since they're all conserved. You take that number, compare it to your number, and whoever has the most points is the winner. All right, thanks for watching.